First of all, quiero reconocer a las trabajadoras del hogar. Todo esto ha sido para ustedes y sin ustedes no se podría haber logrado. So, a couple of people who should be acknowledged are David Rolfe and Ai-Jen Pu. Respectively, they are the leaders of SEIU 775 and the National Domestic Workers Alliance. And I'm calling them out because they are the two people who really got the ball rolling on this initiative. We could not have done this without their support and their organizations. And of course, without the work and the brilliance of everyone in this room and many more who aren't here today. This is a new model of organizing workers, and many people are taking notice of what we have accomplished here. I also want to acknowledge and thank our friends at Working Washington for their tireless efforts and their expertise. Here at Casa Latina, I have incredible co-workers who have been organizing domestic workers for many years and who deserve recognition. Veronique Patinelli. She's actually in Thailand right now on vacation with her family. Very well. Silvia Gonzalez. Identifies as a domestic worker in addition to working on her staff, and also my amazing co-worker Araceli Hernandez. A great advisor to this campaign. At Casa Latina, we build solidarity among workers and also with employers. We've been joined in this campaign by high-road employers, individuals, and also companies like the Nanny Network and April Lane. Themselves. A key partner also has been hand in hand. They are organizers. They are organizers who educate and organize employers with the message that their home is someone's workplace. We live in a time when immigrant communities, working people, and organized labor are under attack by a despotic federal government, and this makes the Domestic Worker Bill of Rights that much more important. I am proud to live in a city that is the first to enact such a measure, and we know this is only the beginning. We will continue working with our standards board and with domestic workers to achieve many more of the benefits that workers are asking for. I appreciate that we have elected representatives and their staff who have the vision and who get things done. And with that, I hand it off to Mayor Jenny Durkan.
So exciting, right?
Yes!
You know, we are standing here together because we all believe in a very simple but powerful idea. And that is building economic opportunity means protecting all workers. And to protect them, you have to have fair rights and fair wages. You know, for decades in Seattle, our domestic workers, who are usually women, and disproportionately are immigrants and people of color, have been marginalized and left without very many worker protections. When I was running for office, I will tell you, one of the most impactful meetings is with some of these women who are here today. And listening to the work they do day in, day out. They are some of the hardest working, caring people I've ever had the privilege of meeting. So thank you all for all the work you do. You know, they also unfortunately, are some of the most vulnerable. And in our city, because they didn't have the protections, even those basic rights that we would take for granted, a living wage, breaks, the dignity, respect, they've been denied. And unless the city comes together to say we as a city are going to demand more and require more and make sure that every person can go to work hard, and know they'll be treated fairly. And that's what this is all about. And I will tell you, at various times people ask me, they say, well, why are you giving special rights? It is not special rights. All people want is the basic rights to which they are deserving, and that's what they get through this bill, so thank you. You know, we're the city that led with $15 an hour minimum wage to stand up for workers' rights and that minimum threshold on what people deserve as workers. That is what this is a continuation of, is to make sure that we as a city stand for those basic fundamental rights. But make no mistake about it, this is the floor. This is not the ceiling. And there's a few people I want to thank in particular. First, I want to thank all those domestic workers.
Yay!
Who working so hard and so tirelessly, doing such hard work that is so fundamental to the families they work for, to their own families, and who sometimes are the most overlooked, the first exploited. To you, I want to thank you for what you do and for being willing to stand up together to say no más. Marcos and Casa Latina.
Yay!
Not just for hosting us here today, every day. Every day you are housing the concept of justice, which should live on in this community. So I also want to thank my friend David Rolfe and SEIU, who have been so Domestic Workers Alliance. Seattle Nanny Network. Berkeley, Washington again. I want to thank my own Office of Labor Standards, who have worked really hard to get this work done. Has been remarkable. But there's another person who you're going to hear from now who I think deserves special recognition, because during the campaign I knew this is something that we had to do as quickly as possible. And I met with people, we worked on it, we promised Adrian thought about it, but it wouldn't have happened first without the people who were committed, the domestic workers, those people I just talked about, but without Councilmember Teresa Mosqueda. This woman is an incredible leader.
We know.
She is
We know.
incredible. It is really hard sometimes these days in particular to find elected leaders who are that combination of both bold and thoughtful. She's the real deal. She got, not just on this issue, but every issue, you will see that what compels her most is justice. What is the right thing to do? And I can't tell you, every time we talk, she starts from that principle of what is the right thing to do and how do we get it done? And then this one, I have no mistake about it. It would not have gotten done without the people here and the people who, you know, the blood, sweat, and tears of the domestic workers. But the champion was Teresa Mosqueda. So
workers who are in this room, whose work has made this possible. If you have come to 8 listening sessions, 4 listening sessions, and 8 community meetings as a hiring entity or as a domestic worker, as an organization, a union, an advocate, raise your hand. This is your work. You have all made this possible. Every single word that's written here, every policy concept, every promise on the horizon, every principle and value that we live every day is coming to life in this piece of legislation because of you. It's folks like Casa Latina, Working Washington, SEIU 775, National Domestic Workers Alliance. We bring it back and it bears repeating that this is a collaborative effort that truly came together because high road employers knew that we could do better in this industry. We want to thank Seattle Nanny Network, Hand in Hand, April Lane, so many individuals, Emma and Vilma are here, Jessica and Teresa, thank you guys for coming to the table, for making sure that we're lifting workers out of the gray market, that we're applying good labor standards that you've already put in your practice into law. I want to thank folks like, yeah, that's would not be possible without the, quite frankly, decades of work of national advocates who have been calling for us to pass a domestic workers' Bill of Rights. Thank you to the National Employment Law Project. Center for American Progress, to 21 Progress, and again, the National Domestic Workers Alliance, who's here with us today, or their national friends are in the back. Thank you guys. And it bears repeating what the mayor said. This is after decades of exclusion, and quite frankly, intentional exclusion from federal and state laws. Exclusion because many of the domestic workers are women and people of color and immigrants. Well, look what happens when we get a woman mayor and a supermajority. We bring our lived experience and we change policy. So a huge amount of appreciation for the mayor, for her leadership on this, for her incredible staff, Adrian, for the Office of Labor Standards, Karina's here, for the Office of Civil Rights, for my incredible staff, thank you to Faride and Sejal and Aretha and Michael who are not here with us.
Everyone squeeze in, come on.
Watch it. Make sure.
That's right. So, for those who haven't been here before, I signed the name with a bunch of different pens so that there won't be enough pens, but people have worked hard to actually have a pen that was used to sign this legislation.
La primera letra.
The power of the pen is what she's saying. Should I do it?
Yeah!
Mosqueda, who is not only responsible for this new Domestic Workers Bill of Rights, but you've had quite a bit to say about this move to add an immigration question to the census. I want to ask you firstly what you think of the administration's attempt to get this tossed out and their reasoning behind it.
Well, first of all, we know that it's the law that we need to count every person in the United States with the census. It requires us to look at every resident who's in our community to make sure that we have the services necessary. So we don't have the legal decision to make a case-by-case basis on who we're going to count. We need to count everyone here. When we count everyone who lives in our community, it helps us make sure that schools are adequate, make sure that we have healthcare services, make sure that we have a public health system that's functioning, make sure that our roads function. Everybody wants the resources necessary to have infrastructure, to have commerce, to have a thriving community. We need to count every person in our community.
Absolutely, and you've touched on it, and I have a pretty good idea of how it can hurt when we undercount on a state level. How does that hurt you on the city level?
Well, on the city level, we know that there's so many people who are moving here. They're coming here because they want to start their own business, they want a good living wage job, they want to be in this beautiful environment that we have. We also know that people are going to continue to come here because of our amazing climate. When you see forest fires and climate change happening across the country and across the world, people will continue to come here. We have 1,000 people coming to this region a week. We need to have an accurate census count so that we can better serve the residents. Make sure that our elders and our kiddos, working families have the services they need so we can have a functioning economy and a functioning local government. That's what it's all about. It's good government, it makes financial sense, and I think it's the thing that we have to do under the law, frankly.
Okay, last thing, and I'll leave you be. And I'm sure you've talked to people in your neighborhood and others around town, those who might not be here or might not have all the right documentation to be here legally. What do they say when they hear that not only that you're fighting against this question, but that this thing might show up on the census?
Actually, who we've heard from the most are actually citizens. They're vets. There's people who are living here and with mixed status families as well. But we've heard from a number of citizens who are very concerned about the question being on the ballot, on the census form. Frankly, they question whether or not they're going to fill it out themselves. We have vets who tell us that they're skeptical of filling out anything for fear of how it may be used in the future. These are individuals who are citizens of the United States of America. They are fearful to fill out this information. They're wondering how it will be used. It's an issue that crosses all demographics, and we want to make sure that what we're doing is not scaring anybody into not filling out the census form. It helps every single resident, every elder, kiddo, working family, business, infrastructure needs, if we can have a better sense of who is here and how many people are here so we can better serve everyone.
All right, very good.
Okay,
Seattle
thank
City
you.
Councilmember Teresa Mosqueda, thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.